Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Today, Wednesday, August the 24th, in the year 2022. Welcome to all those who are here and the people who are joining. Already, we have lots of people in the house. I'm sure you're anxious to hear the news, and we're going to be telling it to you in a short while. But you know the drill by now. Share, let people know that we're here. Good to see so many people already here. Vibert, again, you were first in class this morning, followed by my friend Dudley, all the way from Hey. Welcome. Shalom, Peggy, Ian. I noticed Elise is already here. Lynette, Chansing, welcome. Desiree, we have Natasha is here. Joan is here. Ulrich, my cricketer friend Ulrich. Welcome, Ulrich. We have John, Sandra, Kevin, Marlin. Oh man, people are here. Are you Patricia? Vibert from the East Bank. Vibert is here. Vibert is proud to say that he's here all the way from the East Bank. He's here and ready and waiting. Mark, welcome, Mark. Cricketer Mark, my good friend, Cricketer Mark. Ingrid is here. Lubert, Yvette. Come on, man. Come on. They're all here, and more are coming. So share the word. Let them know that we are here. Denise, you're up. You're a little late, though, you know, Denise. You're a little late, so you got to watch it. Prince Udari. Prince is here. Andrea. Patricia. They're here. You're here. So share and let people know that we are ready to go. We are here and we're ready to go. We have lots to tell you about this morning. And we are going to be starting shortly. We are going to be starting shortly because we want to make sure that everything is told to you. Don't miss anything. You know, all the news that is going on with the police and all the issues. We're going to address them this morning. So share. Let people know that we are here and ready to go. My co-host, my co-accused, my companion, CC, excuse me, is already in the studio, raring and ready to go. We have so much to tell you this morning. Selvin is here with us as well. Selvin, welcome. Audrey is here. Who else? Sheena. Your people are here. Frankie is here as well. So good to see all you folks here. Already we're almost at 80% of the capacity. And I'm sure we're going to go well over the capacity. I'm sure we're going to go well over. But we don't want people to miss anything. So while a friend of mine say we're doing this is shorts. This is trailer to give you the opportunity or to give those the opportunity to get on and not to miss anything. But I have said to you repeatedly, just in case you can't make it for the live, this program is on YouTube. So all you need to do when the live has ended, you go to YouTube and you will see the program there. And then you have the access to all the previous episodes. They're all there. I think there are 35 so far or somewhere in that vicinity. They're all there. So if in case you miss anything, you can go back and you can see what is going on. You can see. So please share the live. And we are going to be ready to start in a short while. We are going to be ready to start in a short while. And you know, as we say, you have to give praise and thanks to the Almighty. Whether you call it Jah, whether you call it Jesus, whatever, He's the Almighty. Give praise and thanks that we are in the land of the living. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Give praise to being able to see this new day. We have to give praise to be able to be in the land of the living. Now, Prince, welcome, Prince, former police from Region 2. I remember Prince. Prince is here. Prince, you were the athlete, right? You said, you, Prince, and his brother. I remember that very well because in those days I had a management role in the police athletics section. So, Prince, yes, I remember you. And let's give praise, let's give thanks. Perhaps I should start by the sad news that 2 former members of PAS, and these are what we call old police people, many of the younger ones, I don't think you will know who these persons are. I received word that Francis Waite, ex-police, he passed in Canada recently. A matter of fact, his funeral will be on Saturday. For those of you who don't know, as I've said, Francis is I think it was a 7800 police. He used to be at the quartermaster stores, and he was a member of that all-conquering police team in the 70s. And I don't know if he went into the 80s, but that team we had in the 70s and the 80s, people like Keith Cameron, you had Milton Paidana, people like Joshan, William Jeffrey, Lloyd Harper. That all-conquering team, Francis Waite was a left-arm orthodox slow bowler. He was stationed at the quartermaster stores and very imposing figure. So those of you who don't know, and now that I've said this, people like Ulrich and Lado might be able to reflect and remember him. Very good slow left arm bowler. He passed recently. His funeral will be on Saturday in Canada. Also, word was received that Rommel Campbell, another old cricketer of that same era. I can't remember Rommel Allet well, know the name. He was part of that same take-up. People like Winston English and those guys were there dominating police cricket, not the thing we have now, dominating police cricket. And some of the names that I called, Keith Cameron, Winston English, Milton Paidana, Lloyd Harper, William Jeffrey. You had people like Neblet. You had people like McRae. And all of those guys were dominant. They all went on to play for Guyana. They all went on to play for Guyana. The team was very dominant in those days. And I looked forward for the weekend to go to wherever they were playing. I was one who traveled with the team all around just to make sure. I love my cricket that much that I used to travel with them. And then I started to manage that all-conquering cricket team. So those two brothers have passed. And I think I want to take this opportunity to express condolences to the friends, relatives, and the family of those two deceased persons, and to say that should and hope that their souls rest in peace and rise in glory. Now, so that is the announcement that I want to make. And as I said, my colleague is already here. Let me bring him in and get going. CC, good morning.
Morning, Paul. Good morning to viewers, listeners. Happy to again be in the land of the living. And you say, let's get going, Paul.
Yeah, and I don't know if you know those two guys, the two cricketers that I refer to.
I remember the one at quartermaster, left arm spinner. Can't remember the other one, and I remember those days, those glorious days when we used to dominate Case Cup and Ratman's Cup and all kind of cup.
True.
I used to follow in the background too.
Yeah, man. I never used to miss. I used to get the net session in the afternoon when this men turn up there, Keith Cameron and those guys come up on bowling. And then I started to play and got into the second division team. So yeah, those were good days. Ulrich, I know you would remember Francis. I know. Tessa, I'm sure you too will remember Francis Waite from the quartermaster store. So welcome, Tessa. Welcome, Sister Trifosa. Welcome you guys to the live this morning. But let me move on, CC. One of the things I noted last week when we had the program, we did lament the fact that Damian McLennan, who the police said was involved in the Quindon Bacchus killing, and he was on remand. I think his charge of obstruction the course of justice was on remand. Unnecessarily so, I believe. During the course of the program, towards the end of the program last week, I got word that he moved to the High Court for the second time, and he was released on bail. So I am so happy to hear that Damian McLennan has been able to get his pretrial release. Now, I want to say this to Damian and the other persons. I hope that now that he's out, he's going to vigorously pursue his defense to clear his name. Also, vigorously pursue the unlawful dismissal, because I understand that he was dismissed while on remand without any opportunity to be heard. Natural justice was not in play. So therefore last week when the police had that fiasco of a press conference, I had to laugh when I heard the man who sits in the chair of the commissioner in response to a question from one of the journalists as to whether Boscom is still fit to be a member of the Ghana Police Force. He said that well there are systems or procedures were to the effect to dismiss any post. You can't just dismiss them like that. So I want to know when he discovered that. When did he discover? A matter of fact, I wrote a letter to the media, to the editors of several media outlets, and I asked that point: when did he remember that there is a process to be followed before persons are dismissed? CC, you want to comment on that?
Yes, Paul, and I think based on your advocacy, also he was released. And we got to keep the pressure on. I believe that the rule of law must prevail at all times, and person got a right. I always say, in a God-given right to be heard, and you can't just arbitrarily dismiss a man without giving a hearing. He must be given a fair trial and given the opportunity to defend himself. So I agree with you. All those persons who were dismissed at the pleasure of the man who sits in the seat there, they should appeal and fight the case.
Well, yes, it's not. And then, the thing about it, we have had so many rulings in Guyana. The courts have ruled consistently that is unlawful. The courts have consistently ruled that is unlawful. So let's see where that will go. Continue to share. Continue to share. We want to make sure you share not only for the credible, the valid users and listeners. People want to come and hear what is going on, and people want to learn. Many policemen will tune in to try to learn something, but also for those bats and the amphibians, we got to give them chance to come in too. We have to give them chance to come in, because now and again, one of them pushing in the head. However, I note that when they push in the members here, immediately just put some lash in them, and then there's hustle and then there's the put back. But let them come, man. Let them come. Every now and again, they come and they make comments about the credibility of myself and CC, and ask what did we do when we were there. The records will speak for itself. We are going to come and big up yourself. The records will speak. But talking about bigging up yourself, let's talk about let me update our viewers on what transpired in the courts yesterday. Yesterday there was this matter, the challenge to the appointment of the chairman of the Police Service Commission, the chairman of the other commission,
Integrity Commission.
the Integrity Commission, the chairman and members of the Integrity Commission. Now, that matter came up yesterday. Well, yesterday the Chief Justice handed down our decision. And for those of you who are confused, let me try my best to explain what took place, because I was in court there yesterday. The long, lengthy decision. Chief Justice did say that the written ruling will be available perhaps by the end of this week. And let me say what transpired. It was a twofold thing. First part of the case dealt with the appointment of the chairman of the Police Commission, the chairman of the Integrity, chairman and members of the Integrity Commission. Let me go that back. It dealt with the appointment of the chairman of the Police Service Commission and the chairperson and other members of the Integrity Commission. Whether there was consultation, proper consultation as required by the Constitution before the president made those appointments. Now, the Chief Justice ruled that in regards to all that transpired with a one-time face-to-face meeting and exchange of documents, she ruled that that can be construed as she interpreted that to mean that the opposition leader was consulted in accordance with the Constitution, and therefore the appointments are constitutional. That is one aspect. People have already said they don't agree with that. I am just telling you briefly what transpired. I am no liar, but I get good common sense. Even though we know that common sense is not that common, I think I understand what transpired. Now, the next aspect of the ruling yesterday dealt with the appointment of the composition of the Police Service Commission. Remember, and I said we got to big myself up because it was Mr. Conway, my colleague, who pointed out some time ago, I think in a letter, that given the requirements of Article 210 of the Constitution, which says that and here I'm not reading anything, I'm just talking off the top of my head, and I'm going to try to be as accurate as possible, which say that the Police Service Commission shall comprise of a chairman, and the chairman is said that, well, you go through the process, it's the chairman. And then it says the chairman of the Public Service Commission, and then it goes on to say 4 members who have been nominated by Parliament and they go through. So in other words, the composition of the Police Service Commission is the chairman of the Police Service Commission, the chairman of the Public Service Commission, and 4 other members. And Mr. Conway, my colleague, raised the point in a letter that in the absence of the Public Service Commission, there could not be a properly constituted Police Service Commission. That was raised in a letter. I remember when he raised that in the letter, Mr. Ford made some comment on it. And the Attorney General, Mr. Landelal, jump in and make a lot of noise. How can a lawyer like Mr. Ford standing be swayed by what Mr. Conway said in the paper and all of that? That was his argument. Well, yesterday, the Chief Justice ruled exactly that the Police Service Commission is not properly constituted, cannot be properly constituted in the absence of the Public Service Commission and a chairman to that body. So the Police Service Commission, as is at the current moment, is not properly constituted. That is what the Chief Justice ruled yesterday. Now, she went on to say they use the de facto doctrine. And again, I'm not going to no big legal explanation because I don't even think I'm capable of giving a legal explanation. But she did say that she's going to use the de facto doctrine. So the actions taken up to that point by the Police Service Commission, up to that point when the decision was granted on yesterday, are going to be saved. She's going to validate. So for those police who were promoted, even though people said the thing illegal, based on what the Chief Justice is saying, those actions are safe. So don't carry back your promotion, your badge rank to the quartermaster store. Based on the ruling yesterday, the de facto doctrine, those actions are safe. Now, Dr. CC, do you want to, have you been a main player in this thing? So I should have you in now to first of all, to publicly compliment you on pointing that out. Publicly, so we got to sing me praise. Publicly compliment you and hear what you have to say about it.
Thank you, Paul. Sometimes it's good to get a little compliments now and again, but I wasn't really looking for compliments. I read the Constitution, and for me, it is very clear, crystal, lucid. It's saying that the chairman of the Public Service Commission must be a member of the Police Service Commission. So if there is no chairman for the Public Service Commission, the Police Service Commission cannot be constituted. And the ruling where she's saying, hey, the actions that the thing should stay, should be validated. I'm not too clear. I don't really believe in that, and I'll say so publicly, because I feel if you are unconstitutional, the actions that you take will be unconstitutional. If you're illegal and you try your illegal best, you're still illegal. I remember Nandala saying fraud is fraud. So if you're not constituted, all the actions that flowed after then will be unconstitutional, will be illegal. And I hope that the attorneys, the persons who are fighting, will take it at another level. Because the doctrine talking about really saying me, that which was illegal is now legal. I don't believe in that.
Well, let's hear what well, I don't know if the matter is going to be appealed. I suspect it might be. But let's hear, because I was taught to the doctrine of the fruit of the poisonous tree. Remember, we discussed that already, that concept of the fruit of the poisonous tree. The tree is poisoned. All the fruits that stemmed therefrom are also poisoned. So let's hear where that will go. Now, a clarification was made too with respect to the appointment of the acting commissioner. So we understand. And if you remember, I think that decision was handed down on the 11th of this month. And basically, what the Chief Justice ruled at the time, that even though the Constitution requires that there be consultation between the president and the opposition leader for such an appointment to commission acting on deputy commissioners, including acting appointments. That at the time when the appointment was made, there was no opposition leader, there was no police service commission, so that that discussion, right, that meaningful discussion could not take place. And she further said that even though the president had said he used the doctrine of necessity, she said, well, it's not a doctrine of necessity, but it was necessary for the appointment to be made. I think we are aware that that matter has been appealed, and I think, seeing it the matter, we can safely say sub judice. I don't think it will be prudent for us to comment on it much, but I just thought I'll bring our viewers and listeners up to date with what has transpired in the court. Now, continuing the same mold of updating you, and again, you know, this is what part of what this program is, to keep these matters public domain. Because every week I tell you about this limited shelf life of many of these issues. These issues come up, and for a week or two, if so long, they are in the public attention, and then the shelf life expires. I don't hear anything about it. We will ensure that these things are kept to the fore. Now, this morning at 10 o'clock, the matter involving the Police Service Commission challenging the suspension of the commission that I chaired came up before Justice Gino Prasad for report. And again, I am always conscious that, and you know, this is the teaching mode, the teaching mode. Mr. Conway and I are both, we did a lot of teaching. So we were taught how to teach. So I am always conscious that more people, new people are joining all the time. And for the older ones, you have to forgive me when I decide that I'm going to recap for the benefit of the new rulers. You can recall in 2021, June the 16th, the president suspended the Police Service Commission. I was the chairman of the commission at that time. Now, that was challenged in court. We challenged the suspension as being unlawful because we said the provisions of Article 225 of the Constitution were not followed. We challenged that in court. In the challenge, we named the president as a respondent. When the matter came up before Justice Gino Prasad, the Attorney General argued successfully that the president enjoys immunity and cannot be named as a respondent. The court agreed with that, and the court ordered that his name be removed. Now, immediately thereafter, the Attorney General filed an application around the same time to say that now the commission life had ended, because the commission life ended on the 8th of August 2021, that the matter should not be proceeded with. They had the legal arguments. The court, Justice Gino Prasad, ruled that given the public interest nature of this matter, it should be continued. The fact that the Police Service Commission life came to an end, he ordered that Paul Slow be substituted in the place and stead of the Police Service Commission. So that was done. The Attorney General then appealed that matter to the full court. The full court ruled in the favor, in other words, they upheld the decision of Justice Gino Prasad, and they said, but instead of adding Paul Slow or substituting Paul Slow in the place instead of the Police Service Commission, Paul Slow will be added to the matter. So Paul Slow is added as an applicant in that matter. So having regards to the other matters that I told you, when the matter came up some time ago, it was decided that they were going to wait to hear what the decision of the Chief Justice was with respect to Ikin's appointment and the appointment of the chairman. So now that she has ruled, this morning it was decided, the Attorney General and the lawyer representing the Police Service Commission and the lawyer representing myself, Mr. Selwyn Peters, they agreed that they are going to await the written ruling from the Chief Justice, which is expected very shortly before they go back to court in this matter where we are challenging the suspension of the Police Service Commission. And the judge has fixed September the 20th as the date for that matter to continue. So there you have it. That is what transpired this morning. That is what transpired this morning in court. And as I've said, we'll continue to keep you updated. But let me say this. It is clear as crystal. And I go to the country man talk. Country man that's getting double thing. Lucidly clear. You tell you say pellucid is pellucid. Whatever country man will tell you, it is pellucidly clear.
Clear, clear, clear.
Clear, clear. Pellucidly clear is clear, clear, clear. It is pellucidly clear. It is clear, clear, clear that they don't want the substantive matter to be heard as to whether the president acted lawfully when he suspended commission on the 16th of June 2021. They want to hear, they're going to dance and dance and dance. They don't want it to be heard. I know the Police Service Commission through their attorney went to court on the last occasion, and they're saying they are seeking to withdraw from the matter. Yeah, they have a right to withdraw. But I am there as an applicant in my own right, and I ain't going nowhere. This thing, back to countryman talk, no done as you like, no done as you like, right? This must go to its logical end. Even if we have to go all the way to the apex code, let it go to the logical end. No done as you like. You're picking up your ball and say, I don't play. No. It didn't happen, sir. You call the match, you start the game, we're going to be in it until it reaches its logical conclusion. See, let me hear you there.
I agree with you. And then I know you couldn't play the role as a substitute, You have to be in your own right. And if it has to go to the apex, let it go to the apex. And I know that we'll be successful because they had serious breaches of the letter, spirit, and intent of this most sacrosanct constitutional procedure.
Well, they know, and they know about the serious breaches, and that is why they don't want the substantive matter to be ventilated in the court of law. They don't want that. They don't want the substantive matter, but it's gonna get there. It's gonna get there. It's gonna be ventilated. And again, I say, as I've said before, if you know that you're so right, you're so correct, why you don't want this matter and other matters to be ventilated? If you are confident that you're in the right, you should be anxious to have these matters properly ventilated. But as they go and say, we shall see. We shall see. Now, moving on. The next issue, let me deal with I think it's today, you have a letter in the media. I had one yesterday dealing with this whole Bascom fiasco. Tell the viewers something about what you said in that letter.
Okay, there was the press conference with Aiken and Blanum. And earlier, I like use cricket in term. Blanum bowl the ball of the match. Remember years ago we said Shane Warne bowl the ball of the century. That the whole idea of this press conference was to debunk false allegation made by Sergeant Boston. And they did a horrible job trying to discredit Boston. There are some things that flow from that press conference. One, confidentiality went through the window. Here's it. Of all persons, the crime chief of the Ghana police force skinning up his informant. He's saying that his Raja Khan and his attorney gave him the information and he acted on it. He threw them under the bus, exposed them. When all he could have said, I received credible information. But no, he called names. And that is why, on many occasions, persons with actionable intelligence are fearful to give information to the police because they feel that the police gonna, let me use back the term again, skin them up, call their names, say it's Conway, say it's Parslow, say, as the case may be. And when I look at the body language of those two persons, Hicken and Branham, it tells me a story. They look tense. They look like they were only waiting for this press conference that they were told, that they were instructed to conduct, to end, and to end abruptly. And so what is, I study body language, or you call it kinesis. I study kinesis with the FBI. And I could tell you, when you look at people, we say the mannerism or the feminism or the demeanor when testifying, very, very critical. And this press conference, so many things that was discussed, and so many lies, and still more lies. And it goes right back to, I have to reminisce that in 1972, they had a NAP commission in the United States of America where Frank Sorpico, a detective, and here we had detective in the Ghana Police Force, a detective smashed down the blue wall of silence. And the blue wall of silence is encouraging person not to speak up when they see another one do something wrong. Sorpico changed all of that. He testified at the NAP Commission and shook the very foundation of the NYPD. He did not end up nice. He ended up with a bullet in his head. They set him up, just like how Bascom said they're going to set him up. Go on a drug raid. Tell him, you take the lead. You knock at the door. You knock at the door, the man opened the door. Partly when he realizes he squeezed him in the door and shot him in his head, but he survived. And he survived, was able to go and testify. But his two companions fled, left him there to die. A civilian rescued him. And believe it or not, they got a medal for bravery. Sorpico later got a medal for honor. And when we look at locally, I know if you could recall during the Troubles, when they had the commission, the Discipline Forces Commission, a man named George Bacchus, who lived right next to the cemetery, he was due to testify. He was shot and killed the same night. I'm saying that, look, Bascom has got to be protected. Understand, he's gone back to work. And they must have a commission to investigate things that Boston said. And that commission must be an independent one. And here's part of Sorpico again. I said so last week and I repeat. When questioning me, they were trying to prove what I was saying was untrue, rather than them taking an attitude that allowed me to help them in the investigation. And he advised the NYPD to create an atmosphere where corrupt officers fear honest officers, and not the other way around, where honest officers fear corrupt ones. This is Guyana. What Sorpico said is, it has manifested itself in Guyana. And I hope that we have the commission, and I hope that we have a proper investigation, into a separate investigation into the murder of people Shorts.
Right. Well said. Well said, CC. Well said. Let me make the point. We are not in the habit of responding to these trench crapo and these amphibians. But I see they sent two of them here, and they're talking a lot of crap. One of them said that we should explain what happened to the millions of dollars that we took to deal with the standing order review. All I got to say to you, the matters before the court, charges were filed since the 19th of May, 2021, and up to now, they can't start the matter. They can't produce anything. So the courts will decide that. That is before the court. So don't fight up. It's not something that is completed, Mr. Prasad, whoever you are, that they send for chose post. But we're not going to be distracted. But I just want to let the viewers know the matter that he's raising is before the court. We had moved to ask the DPP to discontinue it, like the people who had all enough fraud charges and the man who's accused of thieving law books. We didn't do that. We are going to clear our names in a competent court of law. And to the next one who telling me I must go look a job, what were you interested in me welfare at this stage? I am happily retired, man. Happily retired and getting a lot of time to do the research to come and skin up y'all with your nonsense. So I thought that I'll mention that for the benefit of those two persons who are here to try to detract. You're not going to succeed. You're not going to succeed. Now, coming back to the press conference, CC, as you said, some people say it was a stress conference. Now, let me say this. Bascom made this revelation. Following the, people, they started to attack Bascom's credibility. You know, Bascom, and even the man, Bacchus, reckon that Bascom is not no angel, Bacchus. Let me say this. I said, I might have said it before. I don't believe that Bascom is an angel. I don't believe. Neither can any one of the others say that they are angels. But as the old people say, and I'm gonna go it in the colloquial Guyanese, and then I'm gonna explain to me from my friends like Dudley and all those others. I have a lot of overseas people listening to understand. Old people say, if Uri come from Trench Bottom and tell us a patwa get fever, you got to believe him. Now, for the people, let me interpret that. Uri and patwa are sweetwater fish. Sweetwater fishes, both of them live there. And basically, what the people are saying that if the Uri, a sweetwater fish, comes from the place where he and patwa, another sweetwater fish, are dwelling, and they tell you, and Uri tell you that patwa get fever. In other words, patwa sick. You have to believe because they are there together, and you apply that to this situation and understand what is being said. Understand what is being said. So I don't think that Bascom is any saint. As a matter of fact, I believe he might have been involved in them in a few unprofessional activities. But there is even more reason why we should have an inquiry. Even more reason why we want an inquiry to get to the bottom of it. We're gonna come to that a little later. What is inquiry? Now, Bacchus and here what they're using to discredit Bacchus. Here what the crime chief is using to discredit Bacchus. Bacchus said, not Bacchus, sorry, Bascom said, they're using to discredit Bascom. Bascom said that he is the one who took the suspect Bacchus to CID headquarters. The crime chief come with PowerPoint and slide to say that because that is not so. Bacchus's lawyer took him into CID headquarters. He purports to show some Kaicho news clipping and some extract from a station diary to prove that Bascom is lying and therefore Bascom is not credible. Well, Saturday last, Travis Chase News had an interview with Bacchus, and Bacchus maintained that it was, he called, he said when the wanted bulletin came for him, he picked up the phone and he called his lawyer. And he told his lawyer that he was going to CID headquarters, whether the lawyer was coming or not, he's going there. He said he then called Bascom because he know Bascom, and Bascom went to his home, picked him up, and took him to CID headquarters, and his lawyer came after. I saw a clip where the lawyer too admitted that that is what took place. After that clip, well, even before the airing of that interview, the police released a picture, a photograph showing Bacchus, his lawyer, and two other persons I assume to be policemen in a room. And they used that to say that that shows that is the lawyer took him in. How foolish can these people be? A photograph with these people sitting in a room can prove who took him in? How foolish do they think we are to believe that? Then I noted after then there's a lot of dancing. Bacchus came out and he made some statement about Bascom being corrupt. And then he went to another outlet and he made additional statement. But the fact is, Bascom is saying that he took him in, and all the evidence suggests, and to attempt to use that one issue to try to discredit Bascom, I think is a real stretch. And it shows how incompetent these people are. It shows how incompetent. CC commented on the thing you said about revealing source. I saw that and I was shocked that the crime chief can actually say who provided the information in a case of this nature. And I say, no wonder, as you alluded to, people are reluctant to give information to the police because the crime chief on the national, on a press conference, which is going to go national, international, can call the names of persons who provided police information. We really, really, really there in a bad state. And doing the same thing, I think he said that he was told who the shooter was, that Randall Bacchus was the shooter, and that the other man, Mark Richmond, was the driver of the getaway car. They issued wanted bulletin for Bacchus, but they did not issue wanted bulletin for Richmond. Why? Why, CC? Can you explain why?
Can't explain that hidden agenda, but just going back to that same press conference, ridiculous. They hear the country saying that the station diary verify, confirm that Bascom didn't care the man to the station. Station diaries be concocted. Don't bring no extract. Bring the diary. And he's saying so when we have the evidence on tape from the attorney at law, from the police, and from Bascom himself saying, look, hey, it is Bascom who carried me there. You know, it is ridiculous. They acted on information that they got from a convicted felon and information from a serving member of the police force, from a sergeant of police. They're not acting on it. Bascom could be maybe he's not I would say he's not a paragon of virtue. He must have done quite a lot of on professional things or even illegal things. But the fact is that he's telling the truth. And the fact is that you must get to the bottom of what he's saying. And you can't do so by just denying him. That there must be a proper inquiry with competent persons to inquire into the allegations made by him, just as how it happened with Sorpico. Here is it. A man is ready to dismantle the blue wall of silence, and you cast him in the side. You don't want him to talk.
No, yeah, the whole story is you're correct. You're correct. If you even if you don't believe Bascom, all right, he's a police, and perhaps you know that he's not as honest as you would expect him to be. You have to investigate. You
Yeah,
have to investigate. That is the point. You have to investigate. And I mean, the crime chief made another shocking statement when because Bascom is that said that he was threatened by Mark Richmond, and when he reported that to the Edge of Major Crime Unit, of which he was a member, Caesar told him go and make a report at Breakdown Police Station, which he did. When that was put to the crime chief, when that was put to the crime chief at the press conference, the crime chief quite casually said, well, we don't investigate reports of threat. We don't investigate reports of threat. And I had a former senior man from the CID following that called me. The man said he cannot understand what the crime chief is saying. He said it was astonishing. He said, nowadays, a man makes a threat against a rank who is investigating the murder of that. No report would have been made at CID headquarters at Breakdown. Someone or a few men would have from CID headquarters would have gone
pick
to
him
arrest
up.
him. And the only time that he was going to go to Breakdown was for him to be placed in custody and go to court either the same day or the next day. That is what and I know that is what it is. But here you have a case where a senior man, well, relatively senior man in the CID, a sergeant is saying that a murder suspect in a or a suspect in a high profile murder called him and he feel threatened. And the reaction was to make a report to Breakdown Police Station. that is what the action was. And when he did that, nothing happened. No attempt was ever made, as far as we're aware, to arrest the man, because the attempt to arrest him was before this alleged threat. With the attempt to arrest him, where Bascom claims that he and another officer went there, and by the time they got, the man had gone. And there was evidence to suggest that he left early, implying that he might have been tipped off before he went. No attempt. And he went on to say that subsequent to that, the man went into the head of the major crimes unit to take some keys to some car for them to pursue some robbery suspect, and nothing done. And I want to ask them too, all this time, have they ever interviewed? They did interview the man who they claim Raza Khan or his lawyer told them was the shooter. They interviewed him. The man said he spent 3 days in the lockup, and then he was eventually released on bail. I think he was corpus had to be filed for him to be released on bail. The question is, did they ever question the man who is said to be the getaway driver, or maybe they believe that the getaway driver is not a part of the crime? Is that what they're trying to tell John Public, Mr. Conway?
Paul, going back to threats, you know, this public knowledge. There's a threat to kill David Granger, the president of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, and you knew exactly what happened. So it's true to form. They don't investigate threats.
It appears so, regardless of who the threat is made against. And I have seen a lot of comments in relation to that. People saying, well, they're going to make any report against threat because the crime chief said that threats are not investigated. And he said that. Now, coming back to the same thing again, because as I said, they attacked Bascom on the fact that he said that he took in Bacchus. So they attacked him to say, well, that is not so, and therefore he lied. But the man gave details. The man said he was in company with another officer. He was in company with another rank from CID. They were on a particular duty when he received this call. Have they spoken to this officer to verify whether that is so or not? The man said he received a call. Have they checked the telephone records to see if any call was made? I mean, the telephone records is not going to tell you what the nature of the conversation was, but at least it was established that a call or calls were made around the time that the man between the two phones. So there are so many things that they can go on. So many things that can go on if they really want to get to the truth as to whether this Bascom did in fact. But the whole public listen to the statement from Bascom, listen to the statement from the crime chief, listen to the statements from Bacchus. I think the public the public already understand who has credibility and who does not have credibility, at least on this aspect of this whole issue. And I know I believe, and let me tell you, I believe that Bascom did carry the man in as he claimed. I believe that. I believe that Bascom took him in. He called Bascom, as he said. He know Bascom. He called Bascom. Bascom took him in. But I can't imagine that they would have used that to try to destroy the credibility. And I said before on another program that in an effort to destroy the credibility of Dion Bascom, a serving member of the Ghana Police Force, what they're actually doing is destroying the credibility of the Ghana Police Force, of themselves and the Ghana Police Force. Perhaps they haven't recognized that. Perhaps they haven't recognized that when they're attacking Bascom and calling a criminal and calling all of these things, they are attacking the Ghana Police Force, which they are leading. So I hope that somebody would tell them to reconsider what they are doing. I will hope that somebody will tell them to reconsider what they are doing. Since you want to comment on that?
Yeah, and another issue too, you know, when we comment, they trying to destroy Bascom, and they talk about him with in a relationship with a prominent businessman from Essequibo, saying that he was involved in unprofessional behavior with a man, as the case may be. And yet still, they transfer it to Essequibo, where this man is, where his man has massive financial investment going operation going on there, and they send you right there. Perhaps somebody sending them was you want to set you up.
Yes, that was noted, you know. That was noted that they're claiming that the man has some cozy. I think that's the word used by the VP. The coziness between police and businessmen. So the man has a cozy relationship with the businessman from Essequibo, and they transferred him to Essequibo. That is the type of people that we are dealing with. That is the type of people that this country we have at the helm of the important organization like the Guyana Police Force. So imagine that. Imagine that. Now coming to the investigation. I mean, this is another sweet part. First of all, the first thing that the man who sits in the chair of the commission said that OPR is going to do an investigation. What happened to this OPR investigation, CC?
I saw in the newspaper, already in the newspaper, I think yesterday. They're saying that no file at DPP and no file was ever sent to the DPP. Maybe we should investigate that.
So they're lying again? Wait, you're telling me they're lying again?
In the newspaper, I read that none at the DPP and none was sent to the DPP.
Wait, don't tell me that these people lying again, man. I you can't be real. I didn't see that. But I can, because they said, the man who sits in the chair of the commission said that he ordered an investigation, and during the course of this press conference, he said that the file with recommendations have been sent to the DPP, and they're waiting the advice of the DPP. Did I get that correct? Did he not say that?
Yes, he said so.
And now we're hearing that no file was ever sent to the DPP.
Yeah, that's what I go in account to the newspaper article, and I haven't seen them. And they have not refuted that.
The newspaper got to be wrong, man. Them man can't say so. They can't. We know they lie. And as I said in my letter yesterday, they are pathologically mendacious. And then, again, I like to teach for some of those. I'm saying that my viewers don't, but for those people who might not readily understand what we say when we tell them they're pathologically mendacious, they just lie bad. That is what it means. The consumer attack. They lie bad. But they can't help lying. They just lie like when I drink water. That is what, excuse me, that is what that means. So that one investigation, well, apparently that has not gone anywhere. We saw two a press conference.
But Paul, investigate what?
Well, I had asked a question. I asked that question in the letter. What was the OPR going to investigate? What were they going to investigate? And they did make a statement to say that Bascom did not make himself available for this investigation. So if this man didn't make himself available for the investigation, what file you send into the DPP? What file was going to the DPP? I don't know this thing again. The more they come out with releases and the more they talk, they're sinking themselves deeper. I said this thing's like quicksand. The more they wriggle, is the more they're going down. The more they, and I want them to continue to wriggle. So don't stop. Don't stop. You know the song, don't stop till you get enough. Keep on, do the bus stop. Don't stop till we get enough. Keep on. Michael Jackson, do the bus stop. Da, da, da. And I like my music. So that's what's going on. Don't stop. Keep going. Keep talking. And the more you talk, is the more you are going to sink. People are going to see how mendacious, how pathologically mendacious you are. So we had that. Mr. Hughes, the lawyer for Bascom, had a press conference with him. And basically, Mr. Hughes then said that he had written to the head of state seeking protection for Bascom because, as regards to all that was transpiring, he felt that the safety of Bascom was at risk. His life was at risk, and he sought help to protect him. The father said that the president said he was going out of the country. He did not see the letter, giving the impression that whenever he sees the letter, perhaps some action would be taken. President has returned, I understand, and Bascom has resumed duty, transferred, went to where he was stationed. I don't know, are you aware if any protection was offered to Bascom, Mr. Conway?
No, I'm not aware of any, Paul. None whatsoever.
Oh my, and according to Mr. Hughes, that is a requirement of the law. They're not making any ordinary request. The law requires that something like that be done. So let's see where that will go. Now, I noted too a statement, I think it is in Starbucks News this morning, that the RSS, the Regional Security System, has been approached for assistance in this matter. What do you know about that, Mr. Conway?
I read it and I wanted to know if you're correct when you say RSS. Somebody said maybe I don't want to be offensive. Perhaps a vowel has been left out there. The RSS doesn't have any credibility to do investigations. The RSS, I think, is 7 members from organization of OECS states, and they're more military than anything else. Trinidad is not a member. Jamaica is not a member. I think sometime this year Guyana became a member of that RSS. And when you look at the how it's structured, the director wearing military clothing, the 2IC wearing military clothing, the training officer wearing military rank, the operations and planning officer military rank, the police management division wearing military rank. They don't have any repetition, or they have not done anything in relation to proper investigation. They came here during the investigation of the brothers in West Coast Barbies. And you know the Henry brothers, and you know I'm a West Coast Barbies man. I can tell you something. And when they came, they were led, or they were chaperoned to certain persons. We had Senior Superintendent Edmund Cooper, who was in charge of that division, who was there from beginning, who was one of the first responders to the scene of the crime, who persons in West Barbies gave him actionable intelligence. They didn't break a word with him. They didn't talk to him. They put them to talk to other people, but the commander of that division was not spoke to. No wonder they went back and said, hey, the Guyana police force capable of handling this thing. So they're back now. Perhaps they had given them some Labo and Creekwater, so they return to
That'll
Ghana.
come back.
I have no confidence in the investigating capability of the regional security system. And you should know more. You should know more about them. In our groundings with our brothers in the Caribbean, they don't have any repetition.
But see, I got, for the time this thing was announced about RSS, I have had several calls and messages from serving and former colleagues of my in the force around the Caribbean and even further afield. The ones further afield are not aware of any, they don't know what RSS is. And the ones in the Caribbean who know what the RSS is, telling me, say, Paul, RSS to investigate crime? This is a force. They never heard that, because as far as they are aware, the RSS, and I have the information here, RSS, the regional security system was created out of a need for a collective response to security threats, which were impacting on the stability of the region in the 70s and 80s. It was formed in October 1982. 4 members of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, those members being Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent on the Grenadines. They signed an MOU. And that gave birth to the RSS. They said St. Kitts and Nevis became a signatory in 1984 and Grenada in 1985. As you rightly pointed out, Guyana only joined the RSS in March of this year. And I'm not even sure whether all the documentations have been completed for them to be a proper member of that body. I first got into arrangement with the RSS during the build-up to Cricket World Cup 2007 because they were part of the security directorate. I was a member of that directorate as well. And the RSS role, and you go on the website, we said don't be intellectually lazy. It is there. They respond to natural disasters. So when you get hurricane, you get flood, and you have that type of thing in the islands, in the member states, they respond and they provide assistance. And, interestingly, they make up, they have a marine capability, they have an air wing capability. I understand the air wing got 2 fixed wing 2 fixed wing planes.
Yeah.
They have a land capability. And on their site, they will tell you of their major achievements. I ain't gonna bother you with it, but the major achievements, go and look. They talk about the first operational achievement, or the first operation they went was in 1983, the Grenada operation. That's when they had um,
Invasion, yeah.
the coup in Grenada. They went there.
Okay.
In 1984, they went to St. Kitts. And here, what they went there for? Internal security for a prison uprising. That is in 1984. In 1985, they went to Antigua for Hurricane Louis. In 1988, they went to St. George's, Hurricane George in St. Kitts. In 1990, they went to Trinidad in the aftermath of the attempted coup in Trinidad. In 1998, they went to St. Vincent and the Grenadines in an operation to eradicate cannabis, marijuana in 1998. In 2003, they went to St. Lucia on an operation to transfer prisoners from one prison to a new prison. That is in 2003. In 2004, they have Hurricane Ivan in Barbados. They dealt with that. 2005, they have Operation Restore Peace. In 2007, Cricket World Cup, as I indicated. In 2010, they went to Haiti to restore comfort. In 2011, respond to Hurricane Thomas in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. 2015, response to Tropical Storm Erika in Dominica. 2017, deployment in response to Hurricane Irma and Maria. That is it. That is what they list as there is nothing to say that they ever involved in any major criminal investigation. So therefore, my colleagues are around the Caribbean are at a loss to know what the RSS can do, because they tell me RSS has no such capacity. They have no track record of investigating matters of this nature. And the fact that the government can say that they're going to RSS tells a story. It tells me that at the end of the day, they are not keen on getting to the bottom of the murder, the murder of Fernandez, and they're not keen in getting to the bottom of the allegations made by Sergeant Diane Boscombe. Mr. Connery.
Quite true, Paul. Quite true. So just a Papi Showbiz call it, no? Yes, I bring in persons and do the investigation, and it's a joke, Paul. A total joke. I can't even find words to describe it. RSS should never been in Guyana. They came, they screw up, and they come again.
Look, I getting a response from someone here. I'm not going to put it up to disclose who the person is, but the person said he was trained by the RSS. And I said at that time, I was asked, how did I get involved? And he said, anyway, unless they have really evolved, I'm not aware that they have any investigative capacity. That's what the person is saying here. He's not aware that he's a man who was involved with them. He's not aware that they have any investigative capacity. They are a disaster response oriented body. And that is what I know of the RSS. Whatever's going to happen here, the RSS is going to come. They're going to say something at the end. And then the government will say, well, you are called for international help, and we bring in the RSS. So what are you saying? We use the word credible. When we talk about international help, we use the word credible. And as you said, I don't think that the RSS has the capacity to investigate a matter like this. And I don't think they have the credibility, because what they are likely to do is reach out to member states. They're going to reach out to member states and ask, look, send a detective or send some detective from you to be a part of this investigation. That is what is going to happen, because RSS does not have the capacity to deal with a matter of this nature. They're going to reach out, and then is a hell of a hobble, as the Turkey would say. That is what is going to happen. Now, I called in the letter that I wrote and before, two things need to happen here. We need to have a proper investigation into the paper shorts murder, the execution style murder in the middle of Georgetown, a stone throw from where the president and the prime minister live.
A piece of bricks
A
from
piece
here.
of brick, not stone, you're right. Because the police said they ain't got nothing like stone. Police said a man was struck with a piece of brick. So the president and the prime minister both live a piece of brick away from where this dastardly murder took place. 10 o'clock, I think, can't tell the timeline, something about 10 o'clock at night. This thing occurred. And it is shocking that the people involved in national security seems not to be interested in having this crime solved. They seem not to be interested. One would have thought that if they're really interested in solving this crime, they would reach out for assistance from the FBI, maybe Scotland Yard, maybe RMCPA. And this is not being, people attack you, say, oh, you're going back, you want to go back to the colonial people. That is not it. This is the people who have proven that they have the capacity, they have the credibility, they have the capability to get to the bottom of an incident like this. Even though it occurred on since the 21st of March, I think it was 2021, over a year ago, they have the capability, right, to get to the bottom. And I would have thought that they wanted that. So we need a proper investigation into this murder. We need a proper investigation. Boscom made some allegations about what took place. We need that type of thing. We need it. And in terms of the allegations made by Boscom, that calls for a commission of inquiry, as I said in the letter. No, there's not an ordinary investigation because, again, given the fact that these people are pathologically mendacious, in other words, it is like bad, ask them to write statement during the course of an investigation or even interviewing them, they're going to come and they're going to do what they know to do. They're going to tell a lot of lie. And therefore, I want the commission of inquiry so that they can be made to give evidence under oath, under the pain of perjury if they commit, if they tell lie. The commission of inquiry will also have the ability to summon witnesses. A commission of inquiry with proper terms of reference will also might also invite members of the public who know what's going on to come and to give evidence. That is what, I guess that is what they don't want. That is what they do not want. They do not want to get to the bottom of this thing. Mr. Conway, what are your views?
Agree with you. They don't want to get the bottom of the thing. Use some words I used earlier. They don't want to get skin up, Paul. Here is it. A man trying to give them information and they concentrating to destroy him to show that he is a liar instead of walking along with him and get him to assist them in the investigation. And I say, no RSS, partner. Bring the competent people, bring the FBI, bring the Canadian Mountain Police, bring Scotland Yard and others, bring them and let them do hold a proper inquiry.
But hear this, I am almost certain the way how these things work, that if any one of those agencies were to be approached, they are going to be willing to come to assist. I am sure, and it might not even cost the country anything. The people might decide, look, we are coming to assist, and it doesn't cost you nothing, right? So I don't know why they are, well, I shouldn't say I don't know. I know why they don't want competent, reputable organizations to investigate that. And that is the bottom line. They don't want to get to the bottom. The people claiming, and one of the things about the Commission of Inquiry, because a lot of the things that are revealed now by Boscom, the man in the street will tell you that he believed that all the time. And for those of you who will ask, the amphibians, well, there's always asked what me and you to do when we were there for all of those years. But I want to tell you this, I have been out now for over 12 years. And the force now is almost unrecognizable to when I left. When I left, you had issues. You used to get issues. Always had issues. So the time I joined Right You always get issues. But the desire was there, and check the record, you will see that when a man was caught, when allegations were made about a police officer being corrupt, and we used to set trap, catch police officer being corrupt, and deal with them as the law dictates. But now here you have a case where allegations are made and there's no desire to deal with these things because allegations are made against some of the same people who are supposed to get to the bottom of this. And we tend to forget Sue. We forget for Sue allegations still stalling around, still circling around the place. And I wanted to ask you earlier, seeing that you were trained in body language, if you had examined that tape from Sue and whether you came to any conclusion in respect to the body language of the individuals who were involved.
So, you know, when we used to give evidence in court, they talk about your demeanor. Here's it. You're a fluent speaker. You're rattling out. And on the cross-examination, Sue? Who is Sue? Hmm? You're stuttering. You're repeating the question as the case may be. You know?
Well, when you do that, they tell you to, I did some training in that respect. They say once you're interrogating someone and they are repeating the questions like that, they are giving themselves time to think and
Yeah.
they're trying to come up with a plausible answer. So all that is part of the training, man. You know, CC, we are well trained, we are well trained. The people tell you that once you ask, you're interrogating someone, you put a question to them and he asks you, repeat. Once you see they're going to the moon, is the brain gone into overtime to try to come up with some plausible explanation. That is what it is. That is what it is. And that is why we must have investigations into this matter. And I say, for the benefit of those same persons, if you are innocent, then you should be glad to have your name cleared.
True.
Like the trench crapper that came on here earlier, talk about we take money. Yeah, the chargers that trumped up a charge and said that we took money to review a standing order. We are anxiously awaiting our day in court to prove our innocence.
But Paul, let me say something about it. I'll be brief. I remember 2 sessions ago when we went to court. The magistrate asked the prosecutor, Madam Prosecutor, how many witnesses do you have? Madam Prosecutor, I mean 2 times, and I look at her body language again, and she didn't answer. And the information we get now is that she has resigned she's saying that, look, they're giving me matter for prosecute, and me ain't get no evidence, so I gone.
They're giving me basket with fetch water. You see, I got to come back to the countryman thing. They're giving me basket with fetch water, so I don't want.
Let me add in a piece.
Yeah.
Basket for fetch water for bait ducks.
And for the crapper, for the church crapper, for the amphibian, the matter is set for November. Again, the 3rd of November. The matter is set for the 3rd of November. And this sure, crapper, you can go and bet that when the matter comes up on the 3rd of November, they're going to say they're not ready to proceed. They're not ready to proceed over here. So don't come to people, according to share, and say, don't come by we funny. Don't come by we funny. As I said again, allegations are made against us. I have had some additional allegations, and I'm anxious. I'm anxious to go to court. I mean, if I had the opportunity, if the decision was mine, the matter would have done already. I would have gone to court already. Let them bring the evidence to prove. Let them bring the evidence. Again, I repeat, I ain't doing, a matter of fact, I'm not in the position like those who run to have matters withdrawn. A case, unprecedented case, where a man is charged for a theft. Matter goes to court. He challenges, go to the High Court, go all the way to the appeal court, and the people say there's a prima facie case made out against you. You must answer the charge. And then the man run and use the office to get the charge discontinued. And you come
null pros.
Get the thing null pros. In other words, again, for those people that know what null pros mean, in other words, they say it must not be prosecuted. And you come on this live to talk about charge before court. And yes, the charges are there. We have never denied that. We denied the allegation, but we know that the charges are there. And we are going to go and we are going to prove. Well, we don't have to prove anything. Remember that. We don't have to prove anything. They have to prove what they say is what took place. So I'm glad that the amphibian raised it so that we can bring people up to date with what is going on in this system. I'm glad that it was raised. So when they send them, I'm glad when they come. I'm glad when they come So when they come, we're gonna be able to deal with them. We're not hiding from anything. We're not hiding from anything. As I've said, the matter involving the suspension of the police service commission is there, going through the paces. They're running and they're hiding. They don't want the matter to be ventilated in court. They're throwing up all sort of barriers. But I know the day is gonna come when the matter is gonna be ventilated, and we're gonna hear. Again, I say, if you're so sure that you acted properly, if you're sure that you acted lawfully, why duck and hide? Why not ensure that the matter is ventilated in court? If you acted properly, you're gonna win, and that's it. For those people who have allegations made against them, have the matter investigated. So this monkey on your back can be removed. The monkey on your back can be removed, and you don't get monkey pox, right? Mr. Conway, I think we have covered the issues this morning. Do you have anything more to add?
Yeah, just looking forward, Remember we had a fiasco in West Berbice after the horse race in Guyana Cup coming up, talking about Cricket Carnival, we talking about CPL. I hope by now that the police high command are sitting down and putting down workable plans so that we'll have proper coverage of those events.
Well, thank you. They have early warning. They have early warning, and I hope they are listening to those warnings. And I hope, and let me say this, as a man who was in charge of operation for a number of years, a man who was involved in operations like this. Cricket World Cup 2007, I was a point person. 2010 World Cup, I was a point person. Carifesta 2008, I did the security plan. And those things are there. Those documents are there in the system. So all they have to do is to pull them out and modify them to suit what is coming up. All the traffic plans, all of these plans, the movement plans, all of these things are there. The orders that were prepared are there for them to be guided by and be able to follow. So yes, they must use that to make sure that they don't repeat these mistakes that they continue to make. Now, there are other things that we could have talked about this morning, but we're into 1 hour and 20 minutes already. We don't want to, I don't want us to be here much longer. Just want to thank you for your attention this morning. Class was full and overflowing. I think based on the records, we had our highest attendance this morning. Over 100% of the class. People sit down all over the place. People sit down on the desk, and even though it might be inappropriate to sit on the desk in classes, we allow it because we had proper information to disseminate, and we allow you to do whatever you want to do as long as you are attentive. And indeed, you are attentive. So congratulations to you for being in class today and for getting all of this information. I want to close by again warning you about COVID. And not only COVID, you would have seen now, for those of you UNC, let me tell you, that Guyana reported its first monkeypox case during the course of today's Wednesday. I think it was a Monday, the first monkeypox case. And the worrying thing for me is that they're saying the person did not have any recent overseas travel history. In other words, this man is someone who said driving taxi, get monkeypox, which means that you can't say that he brought it in. Maybe somebody brought it from somewhere. I was reading an article this morning as to how it is transmitted and so on. The jury is still out, but I think they are moving, or they're leaning towards saying that most of the victims are people who are involved, are the gay men who are involved in homosexual and bisexual relationship. That is what they're suggesting. This is an article that came out only this morning, just before this program. I was reading it. As a matter of fact, I did not even get a chance to complete it before the program starts. I will complete reading the article when I leave you here. So be careful. Be careful. Protect yourself at all times. Protect yourself at all times, and be safe. COVID is there. Now we have monkeypox. at least one case of monkeypox in Guyana. And if it is that it's a transmissible disease, then one can expect, if you don't take care, it's going to transmit to other persons in the society. So I urge you, I plead with you, I beseech you to make sure that you take all the necessary precautions to avoid COVID and now to avoid monkeypox. So with that being said, I again thank you. And this is the end. God's Spirit Life next Wednesday at 11 a.m. We'll be here again for another episode of Speaking Out, exposing corruption and incompetence. Bye for now.